here and I have this empty wall. We have new floors that just went in this room. I got some other videos talking about how we put up some new wall-to-wall closet on the other side of the room. So we're super excited to move back in, but there's a few projects that we want to do to just make things a little bit nicer in here. So one of those things is we're going to take this big blank wall and we're going to actually put up some planking, some tongue and groove that we have, and kind of have a nice wood paneled accent wall in this room. What we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be taking the paneling and doing paint over top of it. Now you can also do stain. I've seen a lot of really cool stained walls, some rough sawn stuff that looks awesome. For us, we saw some cool pictures that inspired us where you had up the wall, the wood planking, and then you do sort of a darker paint over top of it. You can still see some of the knots, you get some of that rustic look, but it just looks really, really cool. So I'm going to be putting this stuff up. It's unfinished. I'm going to grab one of these boards here so I can kind of show you what we're going to be using. You can see this. See if I can get a little bit closer. This is tongue and groove. So on the sides, give me a second, coming at you. There you go. Take a look at that. All right, so if you look at the side of this board, I have a little tongue on one side and a groove on the other. That's so that when we set these up against the wall, they're going to just stack right on top of each other. It also allows me to put nails in and actually have them hidden inside the groove when I put this all up. So you're not even going to see any of the nail holes. Now we decided to go with an 8-inch board. There's also 6-inch. On these boards actually you can flip them over and you can see a little 3-inch pattern on the back side. We don't really like that. We wanted something that was meatier, something that was a little thicker. So we're going to go with 8-inch. Again, like I said, it's total personal preference. There's not really any structural or whatever. This is just an accent wall, right? We're just trying to make things look nice. So it's all personal preference about the size of the board that you want to use. One thing as we go through this that I'm going to sort of call out, I decided that I really didn't want to do a lot of cuts. I don't want a lot of seams on this wall. We want something that's going to go from one end to the other end and just have a nice clean surface, especially since we're going to be painting this. We didn't want a lot of joints. So what we decided to do is actually go out. This wall is a little over 12 feet. So I got 14-foot boards. I make one cut and we're going to go from one end to the other and then go up. A lot of times the best thing to do when you're dealing with a big wall like this, a lot of times you can get these boards cheaper for 8-footers. You have seams. Make sure if you're going to do seams though, that as you go up the wall, you're staggering your seams. You got to make sure that you don't just have one line going all the way up your wall. So I'm going to go through, show you a couple other tricks here as we start getting into this. But again, 8-inch boards is what we decided to go with. We're going to go from full length, right, one end to the other. But again, most of that is just personal preference. The other big thing you'll notice back here is that I left the drywall up. Now, I'm choosing to leave the drywall up. You don't have to leave the drywall up. I've seen other videos that say, look, you should really be taking the drywall down and putting your board right up against the studs. It's a lot more firm. Now for me, on the other side of this wall is our garage. And so I can hear the garage door open, I can hear the cars. It's also cold out there because I don't have a heated garage, not yet. And so for us, I wanted that extra drywall layer up there because it actually helps dampen some of the noise. It also helps keep some of the cool air out. I mean, there's obviously insulation and all that stuff back there too, but it's also a big pain. I just don't want to rip all this stuff down just to put this board up. So what I'm going to do instead, to make sure that this wall is stable, is I'm going to go find all of the studs in this wall. We're going to get them marked. We're going to use a chalk line to mark them so that I know exactly where the studs are. And then the brads that I'm going to use, the nails, let me show you these. These are a little bit longer, so I'm using 2-inch. This is going to be enough to make it through, and quite frankly, I could be using something that's a little bit longer even than this. This is going to be enough to make it through the width of the board, the width of my drywall, and then still make it another inch or so into the stud. So I'm gonna get some pretty good, it's gonna hold up to this wall pretty well. Another thing that you can do too is as you're putting these up, you can take some construction adhesive, liquid nails, something along those lines, put it on the back, and then it'll actually stick to the drywall too. I'm not gonna do that. Like I said, I think I'm pretty good with these longer nails. But again, it's another option if you're concerned about whether or not your nails are gonna hold, especially if you're trying to go over drywall. So anyways, what I'm gonna do first, I'm going to grab this. Super simple, everybody should have one. If you don't have one, go buy one now. This is a stud finder. Yeah. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rub this up against the wall. It's gonna show me right where my studs are at, and that's gonna give me a starting place. I'm gonna put a couple screws in, and then I'm gonna be able to use my chalk line in order to make sure that I got a good straight line and I know right where that stud is and right where to nail. All right guys, so the next thing that you wanna do, I got my lines all up here now. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do is come up with your level line on the bottom. When you're putting these boards up, the big thing is that your floor probably isn't level. You want to make sure that these things are level so that they're going to go up nice and easy and that they're going to look good once they're up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of measure off how high this board is. I'm going to make a mark, and then I'm going to use a level to actually draw a level line all the way across the wall. That's going to give me a good mark so that when I take this board, put it up against the wall, I can look at the top of that board and make sure that it's evenly distanced from that line all the way across. Then I know I'm starting at a really good level spot, and so that my boards are going to stack up nice and easy as they go up. Alright, so I got my level line. I'm going to take the first board. Now I've cut this one already to length. I'm going to put it up there, and we're going to get a rough estimate on how close I am on the size, and just see how close we are to level. Now, you don't have to worry too much about the gap that you're going to have on the bottom. If it's a little uneven on one side or the other, what I'm probably going to end up doing is using a little piece of quarter round on the bottom. That's going to hide any variance in the gap. Again, it's more important that you get this thing level than you worry about the difference variance of the gap on the bottom. So for example, I'm real close to the bottom on this side. I got probably about maybe a quarter inch, a little higher than a quarter inch on the other side in difference, in variation. So that's not a big deal. Like I said, a piece of quarter round is going to cover that up. So I'm going to get this one up here. I'm going to take my nail gun. I just have a Boss Stitch. This is actually a finish nailer. So I'm using finish nails. I'm not using brads. These have a little bit more staying power. I think these are 15 gauge. So these are going to hold these boards up good, and I'm not going to have to worry about them coming down, especially if I'm nailing into studs. So I'm going to take this, run along each of these spots, and I'm going to tack it. And I'll try to get a little bit of a close-up on where I'm tacking these, just so you can see exactly how I'm nailing them to the wall.